right, so in this next portion of this worksheet, let's look at number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So in these questions, we notice that these are word problems. So word problems, I know, are probably students' least favorite topics in math because they're wondering, why are words and numbers in the same sentence, right? Well, this is actually what I think is the fun part of math, because this is where we get to apply the things that we've learned in a situation. Because that's the whole goal of math, is actually to solve real life problems. And these are word problems that will help us do that and strengthen our skills of doing that. So here in this word problem, there's 5 steps. So I like everything to be done step by step, if you've noticed. So here are the 5 steps, and if you stick to these 5 steps, whether the word problems are easy or whether they're challenging, it's the same 5 steps. And I do this with algebra as well as with calculus and higher math. The first thing you want to do is skim read the problem and identify what type of a problem it is, and thus what tool or formula would you need. So whenever you read these problems, there's so many different word problems here, but you'll notice in algebra there's only like 4 or 5 different types of problems. And depending on the type of problem that you have, that's going to dictate what tools you're going to need to use. So some of them, the tools is a formula, some of them is a chart, some of them is just to translate. So first just read it just so you get an idea of what the problem is. Don't worry about the details, just skim read it. Once you have the tool or the formula, you can pull that out and write that on your paper so you know what you're using. The second step is to assign a variable for the unknown value or values. So a word problem has to have something that you are needing to find. That's what makes it a word problem. So assign a variable, so it could be X, Y, Z, whatever variable you want for the thing that you need to find, the thing that you don't know, right? So hopefully that seems like it makes sense to you. Now the third step is, after you have the variable, now you're going to slowly reread the problem, and as opposed to step 1, you're just skim reading it. Step 3, now you're going to go through it painfully slow. You're going to read it, you're going to pay attention to the numbers, reread the problem, and translate the English words into mathematics. So you become a translator between 2 languages. So when you translate English to math, what's going to result is that you're going to create equation. That's creating an equation using the variable in step 2. So you're going to create an equation with that unknown variable in it. After you create the equation, that's when you stop reading the word problem, and now step 4, you solve the equation using the skills that you now know of how do you solve linear equations. When you're done with that, answer the question and make sure you also check your work as well. So these are the steps for solving any and all word problems, and if you stick to this, you'll be able to get through the word problems.